Good afternoon and welcome to yet another edition of International Forum. I am Wilson Omasho. Today we're zooming straight down to Tunisia to really analyze what is really happening in that country. Yes, they have a leader, Said. According to him, he's doing his best possible to make sure that Tunisia leave the downward state they are experiencing right now. But some protesters in the opposition, led by the labor force of Tunisia, they are saying enough is enough of one man running the show in the country. Don't forget that the leader usurping, quote, right now, the power of parliament. As it stands right now, everything that has to do with politicking, that has to do with power, is centered on one person, Said, and that isn't going down too well with Tunisians, and they're out in large numbers to say enough is enough of this misrule. Enough is enough to tyranny. Enough is enough to one man running the government from top to bottom, and they need a change. And right now, many African nationals from various countries in Africa, they are running away from Tunisia because they are sensing that things may just go out of control. Before you know it, it may just be a case of civil unrest occasioned by civil disobedience. Now, what do you feel about that? With me here in the studio to talk about this, I have, yes, a legal practitioner, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Barrister Henry Wanzo. Barrister, welcome to International Forum. I appreciate your coming.
Viewers at home, good afternoon. I'm waiting. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Well, the man sitting very close to me is a lecturer from UNIBEN, a clergyman, political affairs commentator, political analyst. Join me to welcome Honorable Frank Amego. Welcome to International Forum.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Okay. It's like the labor force is taking it to another dimension in Tunisia. First, it was opposition coming out in mass saying, Said, enough is enough. Right now, they've been backed by United Labor Force in Tunisia. What do you have to say about this, Honorable?
Okay, the way the President Said is carelessly holding on to the jugular of the socio-economic and political things in Tunisia is becoming unreasonable. As a Nigerian speaking from here, what we expect from him is far, far from what we are saying. If he has lost grip over rulership of Tunisia, nothing will be wrong if he steps aside. Because the way things are going on there shows clearly that Tunisia will be maybe going to extinct, if you allow me to use that word. Because everybody is complaining, various opposition parties complaining, labor forces, everybody is complaining. And the man doesn't care about what they think about his administration. Food shortages, economic activities have gone down the drain, and still is not bothered. You know what we expect of a true leader, that no matter what policies you would have put in place, you should have a human feeling, you should have a human face to it. And no matter how good it has been, that your policy you want to put across to the people of Tunisia will be, you now have to feel the pulse of everyone to see that this policy is not popular. And there's a need for you to have a rethink of whatever good intentions you've had. But I tell you openly right now that those intentions are not for the betterment of the good people of Tunisia. And the earlier the president gives a reversal, just recently he has extended the kind of what do you call this one now? A curfew or a state of emergency to the end of this year. In other words, we are just in the first quarter of the year. You are creating a state of emergency till the end of this year. That means it has lost total grip of the people and the nation as a whole. So I want to think that international communities should come into it now to help salvage the situation. Otherwise, there's going to be a breakdown of law and order, because over time is arresting people he perceives opponents, and even TV or broadcast stations are being shut down. That shows he has lost grip of his supposed ambition to become a president. And he has forgotten that the first democratically elected president that passed off sometime in July 2019, that now made him to come in October that same year. Yeah, so he should have everything that some kind of natural justice can take place.
Okay, I will come back to you. Well, Barrister, you heard him. He said, he lost total control of governance in Tunisia for extended the coffee, so to speak, from now to the end of the year to make sure that there is sanity in Tunisia. Don't you think that is the best way to go about all this?
Well, you see, sometimes I wonder what is wrong with most African, these leaders, I would call them, or rulers in the other way, because you should be able to know. Again, I find out that most of them are not even ready for the position they actually asked for. Because a man who has lived all his life in Tunisia, he knows what actually the people need. And he has come into office based on the fact that in 2019 he had the opportunity of taking up the mantle of leadership. Ordinarily, it should be a man that is prepared. It should be a man that has known the pains of the people and who will actually come and address it, as it were, so that at the end of the day, the people should be able to say, yes, thank God we have a leader who listens. Thank God we have a leader who is ready to reshape and address issues the way they should be. He started on the wrong footing. First of all, the parliament, because he said he wanted to shape it and replace it, as it were. Till today, as we speak, just recently they did the election, and the wrong was done on the 29th of January, as it were. But you find out that how many persons actually came out to vote? 11% of voters actually did, to tell you that it was a kind of strong apathy. People are no longer confident. People are no longer, they no longer believe that the man at the helm of affairs actually knows what he's doing. And you also find out that the economic situation has gotten worsened. In terms, you can imagine a situation where people are still talking about sugar, shortage of fuel, shortage of basic needs of life. Ordinarily, in this part of the world, we should not be talking of what to eat. But you still find out that our leaders, as it were, always make us, think that the major thing we need in life is that we need to struggle virtually for everything. Those that the government should have done in the interest of the people, the government will not do it. So, and the people at this point in time are no longer patient enough. They have waited. The Arab Spring came up 12 years ago, precisely in January 2011. And 12 years after, the people are still passing through the same thing they passed through that brought about the issue of the agitation, brought about the issue of the widespread protest and all rioting that took place all over the Arab world. And that 12 years after, the people are still in the same spot. Or rather, they are even going backward, because it is not what actually they expected they are finding out. The man at the helm of affairs, say that the man at the helm of affairs, you saw him when he came to the Central Avenue. His own interest is, he was saying that the protesters should not allow renegades and not right intruders to, infiltrate them. That will now lead to issue of riot. Have you addressed the primary pain of the people? You are looking at the angle that, but the people have shown enough civility. And I will equally thank the police too for, being able to control the actions of the people.
We'll get it about the action of the police.
Yes, the police.
We'll get that.
They were able to control them. Even when they got to the metal barricades, they allowed them, they passed. And they pushed further until they got to where they want to, So far so good, but one thing I will always say is that African leaders should be able at each point in time know the pulse of the people. They have seen the election itself, 11%, the people are dissatisfied. At the end of the day, what would the government do to rectify?
Good question. 11% came out to vote in the election. After all, according to politics, general definition, going for the people, by the people, that's democracy, and for the people. This time, our people choose not to come out. I don't think they made a major mistake for boycotting the election.
Yeah, that was the best action or reaction the people of Tunisia could take to exhibit before the whole nation to express their displeasure over the actions of President Said. It's just like something close to what is happening in Nigeria right now, when voters are tired of some political parties. They just come up with one new direction, and you just see by law of mass action moving in one direction. So for the 11% to have not come out, I would doubt maybe that they would have been part of members of his cabinet that came out and made up the 11%. Otherwise, any reasonable person in Tunisia would not have any need to have voted, because what you're asking for, nobody's addressing it. And it's only one good turn they say deserves another. And there's not a good turn now. So why asking me to vote again? The parliament you have dissolved, you have tried to reconstitute, they don't believe anymore in your government. And it's a major challenge. African leadership misdirection. Once they get there, they just believe anything they say, everybody should take it. They don't listen to the voice of reason anymore. It cuts across all countries in Africa. And I don't know where we got that mentality from. If you want to rule a people, people should have a say in what you are going to use them to do or what you want to do for them. They should have a say. It was a dog that said they should allow them to sleep. Let sleeping dogs lie. It was a dog that said it, not the owner. I know you are my owner, but whenever I'm sleeping, sir, allow me to sleep. Don't wake me up. Whenever I'm awake, whatever duties you want me to do, I will do them. So now you are dragging people beyond their boundaries. They have no voice anymore. Anything you feel, whenever you wake up, that's what you do. That has led to a leadership of decree. He wakes up, whatever thing he feels like, that's what he directs people to do. And people are saying that we can't go that way. We know where we're coming from, arising from the Arab Spring. So we know where we're coming from. We shouldn't forget our history. And now we are blessed with how we got to this level. We have done the first election. The president died in office, and now we are the second president of Tunisia. Don't you think other Arab nations will laugh at us? We said the system of governance wasn't right for us. It wasn't civil. Let's go ahead and do something new. And that the thing that we have done that appears new now has turned against us. So can the President Said have a rethink and find out what brought us to this point in time? Or is the President Said asking us to go back to other forms of governance that we ran away from? We wanted democracy, and democracy we have received, and this democracy is not to our advantage anymore. So I think, as a person, that the President Said should listen to the people. This is not about politics now. Hunger does not know political parties. So it's hunger will be visited with massively. And people will have no access to funds. And some of the Tunisians are saying, and blaming the whole thing on some international organizations like UN, even the US, for instance, stop funding Tunisia until the president comes back to true democracy. And if funding continues, that's what is fueling the anger of the president, thinking he's doing things rightly. So let fund be cut off, no more aid. Let's come to the round table and discuss the thing of Tunisia, and by that, Tunisia will have a breathing space towards coming back to true democracy. So international organizations, they have a role to play in this direction at the moment.
All right. Now, before diving into US, IMF, and the rest of it, which you just delved into, from what Said said, he said, look, he wants the best for Tunisia. He has good intention for Tunisia. But the oppositions are the ones sponsoring this protest that people don't have anything tangible to protest about because he is doing his best as a president.
Well, that is what you find in every African country. Their leaders will always give you the impression they are doing their best. He might not be totally out of it from the angle that the oppositions are, because you find out also too that we have challenges with our leaders. The followers are equally a problem. I tell people every day, just like in this part of the world where I have lived all my life, the followers are part of the problem. And you find out too that the oppositions, sometimes they do not do that which they are supposed to do. You educate the people. You let the people know where the government is even doing well. You assist the government, because that you are not in government today does not remove the fact that you will not get debt. Because if you are in a position and you are able to enlighten the people on the challenges they have, on the challenges the government that is in power, you must be constructive. But sometimes you find in this part of the world it's destructive. People want to pull you down by all means. Sometimes even when government is doing things that will go on and for the betterment of the people, the opposition will always give reasons why the government is doing it. And the masses in most African countries, either because, I will not say the Tunisians are not all that enlightened as much, because they are a French-speaking country. And Arab, they are Arab. Yes. But you find out that they too, because the oppositions try, and the civil society groups, they try to create this bitterness in them.
Because they're the one causing more confusion in the system.
Yes, they try to create that bitterness in them. They try to make them understand that it's just like some of them don't believe in this democracy of a thing, because they believe it is Western idea as it is. So they try to create that impression in them that, oh, this system will not work. We are this particular set of people, we are Arab. With this type of government will not work. So many of our customs, of our tradition, of Islamic rights and whatever will be eroded by the time we give room for westernization. So you find out all these are part of it. So the civil societies, the oppositions, they will always. It is only in some countries, few countries, that you find the opposition being constructive enough, being sincere enough to tell the people, oh, the government is doing well to a particular extent, but in this area, government is not. But no, you always give reasons why the government has not done well. The solutions to the government to do better, in which you would have given constructively, nobody does. So that is what the Tunisians are facing at present. That is what the leader is facing, and why he's complaining that it is the opposition, the CSOs and others that are creating the problem. To some extent, he is right, because areas where they would have done their best to put the people or make them understand why things are the way they are, nobody has done. You also find out too that, because I tell people, it's not like in this part of the world we are assured Obi, good candidate. Just like the other two candidates, they are all good. They are all Nigerians. They have lived there. Nobody, no leader will want to come and want to impoverish his people. No leader will come and want to make his people suffer. But you'll find out that the man who is at the helm of the affairs, the man is in the capital of Tunis. He will not be in other states, as it were. Other persons will be given opportunities to hold some certain position. The question you ask yourself, has the person done his own bit? Because the man at the helm of the affairs might not be aware. And even the man he has said, to say, you watch over that man to ensure that the man has done the bit I have given to. We come back and tell him that the man has done that, knowing fully where the man has done that. Because either he has collected something from him, he will not say it. We find it's common, even in this part of the world, where government has not constructed road. People will tell you there's already an existing road there. Somebody has collected money.
All right.
That is the society we find ourselves. So that is the same thing you find in Tunis, as it were. Okay. The president has said, I am doing well, to the best of my knowledge. But the truth still remains that things have not gotten to the level at which people want.
I'll come back to you. Now he said, talking about opposition, the CSO, civil society organization, the one really heaping measures and bringing out some negative news to the people, inciting them against the government. After all, responsibility we are shared to some other parts of government. It's not only on the head or should say that everything should fall on. Take it up from there.
Yes, you did introduce my co-panelist as a lawyer. I'm thinking maybe he's holding brief for Professor Sahid.
No, he's reading his mind.
I have the right to think. I'm thinking so. I'm convinced right now. Now, you want to come into democracy, which you have tagged westernization.
Yes.
If westernization will help the people to grow, which was in the first instance what they asked for, nobody forced it on them, that led to the revolution. Now they have come into democracy. It wasn't democracy that brought poverty. It wasn't opposition groups, even the labor groups, that brought poverty. It's a misrule of President Said If he cannot have a foresight on how to provide food, shelter for the people, you can't blame that on opposition. Same way that happens in Nigeria. If a party is in power and something goes wrong by way of miscalculation by the leadership, they'll blame it on the opposition party. The same blame game is happening there now. So if opposition parties came together to incite the people against the ruling government, did they tell them the truth or not? Is there hunger in the land? Someone that is hungry does not have to be told that you are hungry. They are truly hungry. There is nothing to fall back upon. I was reading a report about a lady, I think a 50-year-old lady, that the money she had could not buy enough things. And she was having 13 children. God bless her, 13 children. But no food for her to feed them. So can you still blame that on opposition? So the government of the day has failed. You have to take up that responsibility. If it's had to delegate some responsibilities to some of his aides, it is his own duty again to have an oversight function of whatever activity or activities that he has delegated out. There should be a feedback. And one of the feedbacks he's getting now is that people coming out en masse to protest. If he cannot calculate that simple arithmetic, if he was given a wrong information about what he said they should do for the people, and who are coming out to protest, now he should call his guys to order that you did give me a report that all was well. But now from the protest I'm getting from them, it is not this, it's not in tandem with what you told me. If we blame what is happening in Tunisia on corruption, right now I will accept. Not that opposition parties came to incite the people against the government of the day. There's hunger, there's poverty, there is no money. Infrastructures have gone down. Well, was it the opposition group that caused that? Was it the opposition that blocked the market from people bringing their farm produce? Was it the opposition party? Shouldn't the government have a say in the control or regulation of foods or whatever amenities that the government ought to have provided? Cannot be blamed on the opposition. I think it's not right. So the government of the day, led by President Said, should wake up. Otherwise, should resign. So that people of Tunisia can have a breath of relief, such that what they have asked for over the years, liberation from Arabic manipulations, and they calculated clearly that this is what they need, democracy. They were having challenges coming to this point in time that they need democracy. Nobody forced it on them. They all agreed that this is what we needed. And President Said came in through democracy. So what dragged them by way of governance back to the old days we ran away from? That is what is playing out. This is not democracy anymore. It's ruling by decrees. Otherwise, the members of parliament that he pushed aside, where can one find from him now who is getting those rules or laws from? Who are those making the laws? Nobody. So he's just doing things as he wanted. And of course, he's tasting the venom of the people by way of revolution now.
Over now to you. You heard him. He said this is not about inciting the people. This is not all the points you've raised about bathwallers right now in court. That is about Said himself.
You see, I really argue it. The leaders are not the only problem. The followers are equally a problem. It's everywhere, even in this part of the world. Raise some certain issues. People will be, when you are addressing issues, people will be raising an argument. No, don't say it. You're the only one who is something. Oh, you are not the only one. That is the society we find ourselves in this part of the world. The man in the helm of the affairs, nobody is denying the fact. The man who wears uneasy like the head that wears the crown. That is the position. But the question again is, what has the opposition, what have they done to ensure that things work right in society? It's everywhere in this part of the world, even here. You will find people in the opposition, everybody is wondering how this government will fail. How this government will fail. Nobody is saying, making suggestions, so how do we improve? Or call a kind of conference where everyone will gather and say, oh, our leader, you are doing well, quite accepted. But so far, so good. From this point of view, things are not working out well. Make suggestion. I don't think there's any leader who the people will meet of the opposition, as it were, and the CSOs will meet and bring suggestions they will not follow. There's no leader who will not do that.
I think so.
I'm sorry, no matter how dictatorial you are, there are certain persons you listen to. You also find out too that for the fact that the man is at the helm of the affairs, it's not everywhere. There are other persons who are working on members of the executive, as it were, even if the parliament is not there, because in 2021 the parliament, he said he wants to reshape it. But unfortunately, the people again is a challenge. Come out and vote. We want a change. 11% came out. It's just like what happened in Nigeria recently. Last 2 Saturdays, how many percentage came? Less than how many percentage came to? We have almost 80-something to 90-something million Nigerians. But less than 25 million people came to vote for the presidency. And you are saying you want to change. You are saying that the government is not doing well. Opportunity has been given to you. Come and exercise your franchise. Forget what the story people are saying, that, oh, maybe our vote will not count. Vote now counts. I can testify to that fact. Oh, vote now counts. So the people of Tunisia, they always have their own side to blame, because when they say you are angry that life is difficult for you people, and the man now said, oh, come and vote in the parliament. 11% of people, of the totality of the people came out.
Out of 100%.
Out of 100%, only 11%. No turnout. And at the end of the day, you will complain. What are you not complaining? It is an opportunity to register your anger. It is an opportunity for you to make the man at the end of the first to say, you have not done well. And for that single fact, we are choosing men and women that can take us to the place we want to go to. You come out a man. If the people who came out are up to 80 or 90% of the Tunisians came out massively to vote, the man, when you are crying and shouting, the man will not know that truly things are bad. The man is looking at it, 11% of people. That means it's just minimal number of persons that are actually passing through. But the truth remains that the Tunisians are passing through a very difficult time. There's shortage in terms of fuel, there's shortage in terms of sugar, rice, oil, and every other thing that will make life better for the people. Truly, they are passing through a very difficult time. But again, the CSOs, the oppositions are not doing their best enough to ensure. Because if at the end of the day, it degenerates into violence and all that will not lead to rioting and destruction of lives and properties, the people who are enjoying will not be victims. Their children will not be victims. The same, the downtrodden will be the ones that will suffer it. So to me, I am not saying the man has done well all that, but again, the question still remains, what has been the role of the opposition, what has been the role of the CSOs in ensuring that the government of the day, because at the end of the day, nobody is coming from the sky to take up leadership in Tunisia. It's the same people. The leaders are products of the society. They don't come from the sky.
Products of the society?
It's products of the society.
Okay.
Because they are from the society. They are from the society itself. Nobody came from the sky. So at the end of the day, what you get is what you get. So that is what.
All right, now you heard him. It's like you have a lot to say about this, because right now they're saying that they should cut off funds from IMF, cut off funds from donors that say it should come give account. Would that bring another situation, or is going to increase the hardship in Tunisia?
Yeah, it has an impact. But before then, Barrister is confusing me.
How is it confusing you?
I thought he was supporting President Said. But what he just told everybody right now is President Said is an unrepentantly insensitive president.
But he didn't say that.
He said so.
He didn't say
He
that.
said so. I'll make it.
You can deduce from my analysis.
You don't need a deduction to do that. You said so. You wanted 100% participation of the Tunisians in the election.
Exactly.
Then 11% came. You were not bothered. And you went ahead and conducted the elections and declared winners. That's insensitivity.
Why?
It didn't bother about that, whether you vote or not. I'm going to bring about.
But it's by choice. It's by choice. Why would you boycott the vote?
We'll see. You are not a second.
This is a voting. No, hold on. No. Let's say from side point.
Yes.
We have an election.
Yes.
Everybody come out and vote.
And they refuse.
And the MPs just choose to come out. Others refuse to come out. That means they are not part of the government. I don't think so.
It will bother me as a leader
Yes.
that 11% came out. The election could be shifted.
Why?
Could be shifted.
Why?
11% came out. It means that election is not popular. The election of democracy is about the people. It's not about your personal ego. It's about the people. And the people you want to come out to vote refuse to come out. What we expect a true leader to find out what is the level of sensitization, what is the level of interest of my people that I am thinking I'm going to help out by this election. They are not interested. It should bother me. Well, otherwise, we are going to answer a question right now. It's simple. You were asked to be with somebody in the hospital. The person is critically down. And the doctor came and asked you, has this person taking his medication? I said, no. He said, why? He said, he's not eating. Ah, okay. Give me the phone. I said, I'm eating it. You have eaten it. But I said, he's not eating it. You want to help the people to give them good governance. Maybe they understood it or they did not. But now from the 11% that came out, gives you an idea of something being wrong. From that dashboard showing 11%, something must be wrong. You have bought fuel into your tank, full tank, you paid. You started the engine, then you also it moved just a bar. You should be bothered. You don't say because I have paid for a full tank, so the petrol in the tank, that's your business. It should bother you. That's why I say it's unrepentantly insensitive. You should come back to your drawing board, call your guys together. So how come 11% came out? Is it that what we are pushing across to them is not getting to them or not? A true leader should be bothered. Is the insensitivity, the authoritarian level of rulership, that's what is playing out now. He doesn't care. Even 1% came out, election would have still gone ahead to say, I have done my best, not know that his best is abysmal. So if, as you said, the question about the IMF, other organizations sending money, he is feeling because funds are still coming to his country, it's a show of true leadership to him. But once money is cut off, the full entity of Tunisia will be brought to the fore. Then the President Said will know and understand that he has been misruling his people. Hunger, you said it now. That's why I was asking, getting confused that no sugar, no this. And he's still feeling as if he's the leader of that country. Basic things are not available. Is it that the opposition parties shut down the sugar factories? There is no food to buy. Is that the opposition parties or the CSOs came together that the people should go on hunger strike? A true leader won't be bothered. Why are my people hungry? The persons that come out will say that a king is coming to a place are as important as the king himself coming. The people that you are leading are hungry and you are throwing blades here and there. Instead, provide food, get some lorries, face each community. A leader of a country is not a leader of a sector. In case we are making for him, that he cannot see everywhere. Then you should go and vote again, go for elections, and conduct and win an election over a state, the place he can oversee. It means Tunisia is too large for him to oversee. Nationalism is a place
You make a point.
for him to truly oversee what is happening. We're not going to allow some lame excuses that the government cannot be everywhere. Just like it happens in Nigeria, that the government cannot be everywhere. But when it comes to tax collection, the government is everywhere. So what a paradox. So what we expect way forward is, as a true leader of a place, you should not have any excuses as to the life and security of the people that you are governing. There should be no excuses.
Even to you. He said it's a lame excuse that as a president you are not everywhere. And moreover, also the IMF should cut off funds for people to really know the state of Tunisia, because if money keeps coming in, so how do you feel like he's doing well? What do you feel about that? Cutting off of funds from IMF and other donor countries.
You see, the donor countries, the IMF, they too understands governance. They too understands what it takes for a man who is at the helm of the affairs to manage the affairs of a nation, just as Tunisia is. cutting off fund does not in any way going to assist them. But assisting them but giving them fund goes a long way in ameliorating the sufferings of the people. You'll find out too that some of all these African nations, for the fact that we are running a democratic system of government, is too expensive to manage. I tell people democracy is very expensive, especially in the type we practice in this part of the world. I don't think it's the same you find in other parts of the world. And I believe it's the same thing the Tunisians are practicing. Their type of democracy might be the type we practice here. It's very expensive. You spend so much. You have in the National Assembly, you have over 400 to 500 persons who will be there claiming that they are trying to address issues abroad. The man who decided to suspend that in Tunisia has his reasons. And for since 2021 to today, if it's a place where they manage work well, the man would have saved enough money from these allowances, from the salaries,
for the parliamentarians,
all this while, and put it into use of the economy of the country. But you find out too that our leaders too, they try to live bigger than the nation itself in terms of their lifestyle, in terms of the lifestyle of their family, in terms of the lifestyle of their followers. Because democracy is a kind of government where one man will have a special assistant. The same special assistant will be having his own special assistant. All comes from one pocket. So at the end of the day, you will not have enough to take your responsibility as a leader of the people. But again, be that as it may, the question then is, what has the states them, those who it is their responsibility to control their states them? Are they like Nigeria here, where some states, they have their own natural resources where you can tap from? You also find out too, are the Tunisians, because they are now in a democratic system of government, have they lost touch with their ways of life as then they were, as it were in the past? Because these are some of the issues you look at. Maybe they have not started living life, nobody does things they used to do in the past. Because you find out that when we were growing, I saw farming was part of our lifestyle. Farming, even while we were in the boarding school, we all have our individual farm. I attended a boarding school. I had a farm. We plant tomatoes, we plant vegetables, we plant cowpeas and others. We use them either with covering crops for irrigation and others. We plant them. And the school, on Saturdays like this, we go around and think, do you still have them? You will find out that in Tunisia, maybe people no longer go to farm because they are starting planning to. Everybody is waiting for government to come and give you money. And at the end of the day, government itself, even if it's Father Christmas, it cannot do that as it were. You also find out too that the international donors, they are asking not to assist these nations. The international donors are assisting because they know the needs of the people. IMF will always be there to assist, especially African countries that needed an assistance. US will always be there to play its role. Some other organizations will always be there to play their role. They understand your challenges. They understand the pain of the people. They understand too the type of leadership we practice in this part of the world. Sometimes I ask myself question, our leaders in Africa, do they have a meeting where they usually gather and decide that their people should pass through a particular way of life? But again, you ask yourself this question. Are they actually prepared at the time they were coming to hold the mantle of leadership? Because another thing is to be prepared. That I know the pains of my people. I know what my nation is passing through. I am coming to rewrite the wrong. I am coming to ensure there is no food shortage. I'm coming to ensure that the people, the basic needs of life are provided for the people. You still find out that in parts of the world, in African countries, the people are not like Nigeria. Somebody is talking about electricity. I begin to ask. My great-grandfather waited for electricity. My great-grandfather waited for light, roads. They waited for water. The same myself. I am still waiting. My children are grown up. Their children are going to wait for road and light. I begin to ask myself, are you sure that sometimes it's not only our leaders, we the followers are equally a problem?
Okay. All right. Now, he said the IMF and all these donor countries, they understood government. They understand governance. That is the reason they keep giving money to Tunisia just for them to stabilize. Don't forget what led to the Arab Spring. A guy woke up one morning, just can't provide for his family. He chose to, like, set himself up. And that was how the Arab Spring started. Brought under control. Few years ago, the same thing happened. And then a woman or a man did something in Tunisia, but there was no Arab Spring. What changed?
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. The understanding of IMF and other international organizations is to promote democracy. And that's exactly what they are doing in the land of Tunisia. They are not promoting bad governance. They believe in democracy. That's why they are promoting it. That's why funds are being sent there. Now I'm agreeing with you. I have agreed with me. That President Said wasn't prepared to be president.
So he said, maybe they are not prepared to be president.
Wasn't prepared.
He never said he wasn't prepared.
Wasn't prepared for it. Wasn't prepared because the first democratically elected president died in July 2019. Then they conducted an election between July and October. That was when President Said came on board. Just 2 months in between, August and September. So such a person that were prepared. It was just a circumstance. Okay, let's fill in the gap. Now, as IMF and other world bodies that are supportive of democracy, as they are bringing in funds, it's just simple. Just like in Canada, for instance, if you have a home and you have kids, the government takes up as a responsibility to give your home like a liter of milk every morning. And it all plays out to be the Nigerian people, father, mother, children, they just migrated from Nigeria to Canada. What you expect of the parents of those children is what African leaders are doing. They'll tell the children, bring cups. They bring their cups. They give them drop-wise. The father and the mother will drink the milk. Yes, as the head of the home. Now, the Canadian government will feel that we are supplying milk to this home regularly. They may not even know that the children that those 1 liter everyday milk meant for, we're not having access to it. So that's why Tunisians are saying, not other countries of the world, Tunisians are saying, cut off the fund. The milk you bring to us doesn't get to us.
If they cut off this fund, when it was a situation,
it won't. Because that's a fund that the president is using on himself and for himself.
What about the parliament that is on the ground?
If, as it dissolved the parliament earlier on,
yes,
and we are saying it's too bogus for us to attend to, then cut off the cost of governance. He hasn't done that. So no money is coming per time, and the president is doing nothing about it. So the Tunisians are saying that let's go this money, don't bring the money again. All die and die. Let all of us suffer it. The money is coming, we're not beneficiaries of it. That's the grievance of the Tunisians. The money that comes doesn't get round. In terms of agricultural support or whatever infrastructure, nothing is playing out. So cut off that money. It's of no use to us because it doesn't get to us. It does not crystallize in the economy or the social life of the people. Otherwise, they would have been clamoring for IMF and the rest to cut it off. If they were partakers of the funding, they would have been asking for a cut-off.
Over now to you. He said cut it off because they're not partakers of it.
Directly or indirectly, they are partakers of it. Because there is no way you will run a government without the people. The government is there, and the government that is being given this support. You see, the truth there is that it's not as if the government has not made some provisions, but the people are expecting the way it used to be in the past. Generally, all over the world, there is economic crisis, generally, in terms of food shortage due to the climate change and others. You have these challenges. And again, too, if you ask that this assistance, because the people who are giving this assistance know quite well that the man has not mismanaged it, as the people actually. The man has not. The man, they take statistics. They have their people who overseas in these countries. They are there. They see how these funds are being used in the areas where they put in them. But the truth still remains that the people, what the people are expecting, the people, sometimes you will find out that If actually, because of the situation as it were, that would have been enough for them to come out en masse when the election issue came up. And then use the parliament at the end of the day to impeach the man. Use the parliament to impeach the man. Because you said the man has not done well. The man has given you an opportunity. So come out, my brothers and sisters. Come, let us choose men and women that will take us to the Eldorado. Because if the parliamentarians are there, they will be able to cut his activities. He will know that they will be able to challenge him. Because as it is now, he's drifting towards authoritarianism because he's the only one in charge. But once the parliament is there, they will be able to, to check. There will be check. Somebody will be representing your area. When you go home, once in a while, you will be able to say, my people from the Tunisian north, these provisions are not there. My people are passing through a very difficult time. But you have chosen on your own not to do the needful. And at the end of the day, you are complaining, you are saying that somebody should cut off the assistance. The assistance is what is even sustaining you as a nation. Once the assistance is no longer there because of the climate change, the economic crisis in the world as it were, it will result to violence that maybe will lead to people losing their lives as it were. And you also find out, like the example you gave, a woman has 13 children. One woman has 13 children. 13? 13 children. Wow. Only you, 13 children. It is a challenge. Because for a family, if you decide for each family, you have a minimum of 12, 10, 13 persons, children. Automatically, with 13 children, the man and the husband makes it 15. You can imagine what family will take.
All right, our time is up. Our time is up. What advice do you have for Said right now? Because people are still protesting, led by the labor force, civil society, and others. Briefly, 45 seconds each.
Yes, it should do the needful because people are not protesting because of good governance. People are not protesting because he came in immediately after the former president died. Nobody's complaining about that. What is basic remains basic. Provide for the people. There is no given set of people that will protest when they are living at average or a bit above average level. But right now, the life there is abysmal. And the cry that we are hearing them go into now is a cry emanating from hunger. That's the easiest way to deal with a set of people. So remove hunger from them, steal the money, the people of Tunisia will be happy.
Wow, interesting. Over to you, Barrister.
To me, the leader is not the only challenge. The people are equally a challenge. Africans generally should learn that the product of the leaders comes from the society itself. That we should be able to choose men and women who will represent our interests. They have asked you to come out and vote. You decided not to come out to vote. Choose your parliamentarian who will come and represent your constituency. And at the end of the day, report back that, this is what my people are passing through. And you decide to stay away. For the international donors, they should continue to assist because that is the only way they will be able to calm the situation in that region.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. You have spoken well for, and of course, against us. Sometimes this merger, this great area that both of you just suddenly again, you just disperse, giving different opinions and views. But one thing remains certain. Tunisians are not happy. The prayer is ongoing. Saidi said, look, it is not just about me, it's about everyone. You are trying to mess up the government for me. For that reason, there'll be coffee to the end of the year for law and order to have its way. Do you think that is a solution? We'll keep watching as the reports back to you on International Forum next week, God willing. Bye for now.